So I now call this meeting, the Education Committee meeting to order. The time now is 1:04. We'll go ahead and get started with the invocation. Now pray us in. If you could, please bow your heads. Father God, we just come before you today, just thanking you for this great opportunity, God, to just be here. We know that life is a gift, Father God, and we just thank you that we can make the best of our lives by advocating and advancing education in this city. And so we just thank you for all the great information that's going forth today. We thank you, Father God, that we are able to take this information and enrich the lives of those who we serve. And so we just thank you, we praise you, and love you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen. Councilman Quinn, the minutes are before you. Have you had a chance to look over it?
It's good.
All right.
Motion to approve.
Second that. Second that approval. Any objections? All right. The minutes passed. All right. So today we have a couple of different presentations, and we're going to start off with the McWane Science Center today, who's going to be talking to us about their new exhibit, Dropping Science. We have with us Mr. Eric Lizzie and Mr. Antoine Harris. And so I want to go ahead and give you the floor so that you can talk to us about Dropping Science.
Great. Well, this is going to be, I just talked with you, 2 weeks ago we had
Yes.
the meeting, so it'll be a repeat. I'll try to bring in some new information on this. But just to back up Mr. Quinn, you've already heard some of this too. We have new updated drawings. But I'll back up a little bit. So this exhibit is part of McWane Center's master plan, and that master plan is planning out for the next 20 years. We started this master plan during COVID, so that has stalled things, but during COVID we were able to do the first phase of that master plan, which was upgrading our IMAX to a digital theater. So we're able to show Hollywood films that used to come on giant reels that took a truck to deliver them. Now they come on a hard disk, and we pop them in and ready to show it. And the image and the sound is much better. Replaced all the surfaces, chairs, everything in the theater. So it's a new theater. So that's the first step on our master plan. The second thing that we're working on, we're calling lens exhibits. And these lens exhibits are looking at popular culture through a STEM or a science lens. And so things that the general public is going to be interested in. So instead of doing something about physics or something about chemistry and branding it as such, we are going to be looking at maybe it's movies or food or sports through a STEM lens, and we'll be building exhibits that talk about science principles in these popular subjects. So the first lens exhibit that we've been working on, again, we've been working about 4 or 5 years, is this Dropping Science exhibit. And this is a permanent exhibit at McWane Center. It'll be on our 3rd floor. It's about 4,000 or 5,000 square feet. And a couple things that we want to do with this exhibit is really invite a new audience into McWane Center. So, for example, when kids get around 9, 10, 11 years old, they really do stop coming to McWane Center. And in the 20 years I've been working at McWane Center, we've seen that decline. I mean, you've got after-school activities, more difficulty with transportation, lots of things going on that have impinged on those visitors coming. But the other thing too is McWane Center is seen as a children's museum, which is not exactly true. We're a museum for everybody. We have adults come in, they have fun with our exhibits, teenagers as well. And so this hip hop exhibit, we want to bring in a slightly older audience. During the weekdays, we see lots of Birmingham City school kids, which we love having them. We don't see them returning with their families on the weekends. And so that's another audience that we really want to invite out to McWane Center. People that may see science in our name and think we're not fun or something like that, think that it's not for them. We hope an exhibit like this is going to be like, oh, instead of going to see that, that physics exhibit down at McWane Center, I'm going to go down to McWane Center and see an exhibit about hip hop. We think that's going to be a big draw for it. And I'm using this picture as a background of the educational ideas that we're hoping to get across. And so This photo's from the 80s, but of course this is the 50th anniversary of hip hop. Started in '73 in the Bronx. This is the 80s, but this is probably what hip hop was looking like throughout the '70s. And so what we see here is a group of guys, probably DJs and MCs getting ready for a show, which that's what's going on. But let's look at these folks in a different way. Are these electronics engineers? Are they hackers? Are they taking technology and using it in ways that nobody ever thought of using before? Absolutely. These are innovators. These are STEM innovators is a way to look at them. So, you know, a kid could come up and say, you know, I'm not really interested in science. I don't see myself in it. I don't see how I relate to it. Hip hop, of course, I mean, it's the most popular genre in the world, let alone what's going on in Birmingham. Kids relate to that, adults relate to it, everybody relates to it, understands it, popular art form. And that's an inroad into STEM. And so let's look at what these guys are doing. They've got, you know, they've got an amplifier here. It's probably not designed to be playing at the volumes they want to play it at, so they got a fan on it to cool it down. They've got these playback devices here. They're not playback devices in hip hop, they're musical instruments. Hip hop takes two turntables and mixes two songs together into a seamless flow that can keep a beat going as long as the DJ wants it. That started in '73 with DJ Kool Herc, and that kind of innovation is what is so compelling about hip hop to us and about this exhibit, and we hope that this gets across to folks. The other thing too that I love about this image is the passion that we're seeing here. Something's probably wrong, and they're trying to fix it. And so you got the guy fiddling around with the wires down here. But the other passion is, and I noticed this the other day, someone hobbled here on crutches. You know, they're probably not making any money, but they were driven to have their voice be heard. They're using this technology to empower themselves, to give themselves a voice. So this is just a great all-around photo. So as I said, third floor, here's a 3D layout of the exhibit. The next images I want to share are our earlier images, the ones that are in some of these brochures here, are concept renderings, and they're not real. When you start looking at them, what you see in those images, it's hard to tell what's going on. They're just they're an idea about what the exhibit could be. The drawings we have now is really what the exhibit is going to be looking like, and so this has gone beyond concept rendering. This is the schematic phase, which is how big is something going to be? What color is it going to be? What do you do when you get up to these exhibits? And so that's where we are in the design phase. We hoped to be done with all design by late November is what we're shooting for, and we are fully funded through that period to get that done. So this is one of the first areas you're going to see, and so of course over here we've got DJ booths, and so in those booths are going to be two turntables. If anybody has tried to mix two beats together, it's not easy, and it's not going to be easier for visitors. It's just like you wouldn't give them a guitar and expect them to sound good. So our job as exhibit designers is to create something that feels authentic, that gives you a lot of control, but at the same time you're always going to sound good. So it's going to beat match for you, no matter what you do with either of those turntables. When you put the fader over to it, it's gonna sound beat match. It's gonna sound good. Visitors, people don't like to fail. They don't want to walk up to something and go, I don't know what to do here, or I didn't do it right. And so that's an important thing that we need to do. These are some more booths over here. These are recording booths, so there'll be a screen and you can rap lyrics. Again, not everybody is going to be a great rapper, and so we'll have a little bouncing ball that goes over the lyrics probably, but we're also looking at some technologies that might be able to cut up what people are saying and help them meet the beat that they're rapping over. And so that's another technological challenge for this exhibit. And then this last area, you can see dance floors over here, so we're working with Winston Strickland over at Mad Skills, and maybe he'll be, or he or some of his students could be dance instructors. teach you a beat, or teach you a dance move in this area. The other thing over here is a style station, and so when we started on this project, so I've been a hip hop fan for many, many years, but hip hop fashion was never something that I was into, and that's the danger of designing an exhibit is just because something's not interesting to me doesn't mean it wouldn't be to our visitors. So we talked to a lot of teen groups about this exhibit, and so it was an iterative process. And one of the first meetings we had, they were like, okay, where's the fashion? Where's jackets? Where's shoes? I was like, oh, we didn't do that. Of course, they looked at me like I was insane. And in subsequent meetings with different kids, we designed some exhibits together. So this one, it's not illustrated well here, but you will be able to design a sneaker. It'll have a real sneaker. It'll project on it to projection mapping technology, so it makes it look like that's what the color of the shoe is, and they'll be able to design it on the fly. So it's something that's very important to us, is to work with our community to develop exhibits that they're interested in. So that this is certainly a great example of that. The whole exhibit, you can use the exhibit without this VIP function, but what this is everybody that comes to the exhibit gets this lanyard and gets this, whether it's a QR code or an RFID. And what this thing does is you walk up to an exhibit, and like over here, this is a lyric writing station where if you're younger and you're not necessarily very skilled, it'll be like a Mad Lib, you fill in the blanks. If you're more advanced, we're working with some AI technologies to have an AI help you write a lyric. So you've written your lyric, you swipe it with your card, you walk over here to the recording booth, you swipe your card again, the lyrics that you just wrote would appear on the screen, and then you've got your lyrics, then you record it, you swipe your card, you've got that recording in the exhibits, and you go over here maybe to the beat matching section, and again you swipe your card, your lyrics, your voice, and then you're making a beat for it. Swipe it again, you've got it recorded. And most of the exhibits will be activated by this. Now, if you don't have this thing and you lose it or whatever, you can still participate. But what this does is allows you to take some of this content that you've created, take it home, take it back to the classroom, share it with your social media, do all kinds of things that we won't necessarily have any control over. It'll be kids creating the exhibit. So that's a really exciting feature that we're working on. And then these are just some of the elevations. So with the entrance, you see the speaker motif here. These are from a comic that were done, I think, in the 90s, talking about hip hop history. We'll probably get an illustrator to do something similar for us, to have kind of a comics motif throughout the exhibit. We'll have all these areas called knowledge drop areas, and so in those areas we'll talk about the history of hip hop. We use that as an opportunity to sing the praises of hip hop and hopefully be a point of Black pride for this cultural creation, and talk a little bit about how anybody can participate in hip hop. So it's not something you need a record contract or you need to be able to do a flip. You can go down the street, you can participate in Birmingham right now with a number of different groups in hip hop. The same can be said of STEM careers. You don't need a degree necessarily. You don't need STEM doesn't just happen to with people in lab coats in a lab someplace. STEM is everywhere, and it has applicability in all kinds of different fields. And so that's these knowledge drop areas. We want to get some of that information across. Wheels of Steel, of course, is a Flash reference. That's what we call them, those areas. But again, we'll have some celebrities in there, but it's not going to be about Mary J. Blige and Jay-Z and all that necessarily. They'll be represented, but we're really interested in making sure that people know that hip hop is a daily practice culture that doesn't have to involve money, and there are people in Birmingham doing it now. Our advisor group, the folks that we've been working on this project with from the get-go, T. Marie King, Eugene Wright, a number of different people involved in hip hop and community groups have been talking with us throughout, helping us improve the exhibit as we go along. One thing I will say, and I didn't bring this up before, this exhibit will be unique. There is nothing else out there that is interactive and STEM-based about hip hop. So we will be the first. There are other hip hop exhibits out there. They're artifact based mostly, you know, Run DMC shoes and so-and-so's turntable and those kinds of things, which is great. Those are great exhibits. At a hands-on science museum, that's not gonna fly. Our kids are not gonna be compelled by that. You gotta be able to do it, feel it, touch it. One other thing, and I've just been thinking about the boombox a little bit recently. This is an interesting piece of technology. You know, I was just thinking it's iconic for hip hop, but why is that? Because this is a piece of technology that is your recording device, it is your playback device, and it's your distribution method. So this is how hip hop spread through the boroughs in the 70s, was through a technology that was controlled by the individuals. You didn't need a recording studio, you didn't need to press records, you didn't need anything, you didn't need radio play, you didn't need anything except the community that you had and this piece of technology. So those kinds of things are, I haven't found a clever thing to talk about the Viewmaster yet, if y'all remember that thing, but I'm working on it. I'll get some cool thing in there. So graffiti, of course, is an important part of this. We're working with a couple local graffiti artists on the project. We're going to change this one. We had some comments saying, are you advocating people tag trains? No, we are not, but I see how one could reach that conclusion. So we're still going to include graffiti, but we won't invite people to tag trains. It's dangerous and it's trespassing, so we'll have disclaimers on the bottom of the exhibit. So these are just all, there's the sneaker designer area that I was talking about. So that's the project. And then I was going to let Antoine talk a little bit about something that we've got coming up next month.
Oh, appreciate it. Well, again, my name's Antoine Harris. I'm the new director of marketing for McWayne. Fairly new to Birmingham, but longtime advocate, fan of hip hop. I'm originally from right outside Detroit, from Flint, Michigan. So, and my family's all from Buffalo. So the block party. So this is one event that we hope to have. Well, the first of many events we hope to have under the Dropping Science umbrella. And what that would do is essentially allow us to build up to this exhibit. So the first of those, we named it the Block Party. And when you think about hip hop and how it relates to the block party, I mean, this was, especially growing up north, was the place where we would all go and you could hear new talent, all local talent, you know, your friends, you have competitions, you know, battle rap, different DJs. I mean, it was literally the thing that was the most talked about thing on the block. And so in that same spirit, we wanted to name it that. And so this is a hyper local event. What we're looking at is having, well, actually confirmed, we have all local acts. Right now we have a total of 6. It may be more. We have Eugene Wright, G.I. Magus, Seven Rich, King LJ, Shaheed Supreme, and Sean Judah. So these are folks who are known locally, who are very, very active in the community, especially when it comes to hip hop. And so this is, you know, that's what you'll see on the stage. It'll be along 19th and 2nd. So we'll have, you know, stage set up. We'll have food trucks set up, areas where you can eat, see the stage, enjoy the music. We have local dance teams as well, you know, or 2 local dance groups that will be performing as well. So again, all hyper local and really just bringing the community together. The best part about it is all of this is free with the cost of admission. You know, the whole goal is to, as Eric said, bring in, you know, that demographic to the Science Center that wouldn't normally come, that wouldn't be able to come out, or that, you know, will age out. And so this just kind of brings back, you know, a lot of the older folks, and it really is a community event, right in the heart of downtown. Some other things going with this. And we were going to make it really interactive too, where you get the ticket, you could possibly like vote for your favorite act, get entered into a drawing, win, some sort of McWayne swag, have a giveaway. But again, keeping it very hyper local and really showcasing our community. So that's my spill.
We're also subsidizing free tickets, and I think those are getting distributed to your offices, so you'll have tickets
Yeah.
to give out.
Yeah, we already have them. It's just a matter of when she brings them over. But they are already set. I think it's we had a total of 1,500 that we were bringing over.
And what day is the event?
So this is going to be October 21st. It will be from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. We close at 5, so 4 p.m. is like the breakdown time. But it'll be right along 19th and 2nd. 19th, 2nd, yes. Our hope was to close off 19th, but I don't think that's going to be able to happen. But we have it set up where the food trucks, again, will be so far over where they won't impede traffic. It'll be very visual. At the corners, at the opposing corners of our plaza, we'll have signage that'll tell people where to go, those who are walking by and so forth. So it will definitely be very visual, very easy to catch. Plus, it'll be loud. People will see it, they'll hear it from blocks away. And, again, inviting everyone out, especially members of the council. Would love to, at some point, bring everybody up on stage, recognize our elected officials, and all the folks that really made it happen, because it is really about the community. And we are just grateful, really to have people that want to be involved with something like this. And as Eric said, it is. I've been all over this country. I was in media for 10 years, and I've been coast to coast, and I've not seen anything like this, other than the stuff you see in New York right now with the fashion exhibit and so forth. But nothing like this, especially this region of the country. So this will be very impactful. My goal is to market this as a one of a kind thing.
Gotcha.
We're going to clear some room on the agenda for you guys to wrap.
We've done it before.
Okay.
That's what I'm about, man. I'm trying to get down with this records.
We'll talk about that and make sure you're on the schedule and go from there. I guess we'll have to make sure that the DJs have whatever you're going to be happen to, and the DJs will be from 95 Jams. So we'll have DJ Gorgeous
It would
and
just be hype, man.
Cuzzo and yeah. But we'll talk with you all about that. Then the last little bit about this, and when I'm saying unique and one of a kind, that means also expensive. And so one of the things we're coming to the council for is hopefully to match the mayor's very generous offering to the exhibit, and we're hoping that the council could match that. His donation was $450,000 across 3 years. We're not announcing this as we're in the capital campaign for this exhibit, but we haven't gone public yet. We want to get into the 60 to 70% of money raised. We're not there before we start talking to the public. If the city council were able to come in at that level, then we would be able to go towards the public capital campaign and accelerate the fabrication, of course.
So timeline wise, the schematics and design will be done by the end of November.
Correct.
But then hopefully the goal is to start this campaign and start building it out when.
We won't be able to start building it until most of the funds are secured. It's like you wouldn't build, you don't want to be halfway through it and then have to stop, just like a house. So it is totally funding dependent at this point, yeah. But if someone says, here's $2 million, go do it, we'll start fabrication in January. And we could be done by probably late fall, early winter, if it came to that.
So on the funding issue, can't remember the exact dollar amount, but because we've already committed funding
Yes, that's correct.
I'm really excited about this. Very glad that there's a lot of local folks who are kind of embedded and, you know, definitely making it feel like it's a homegrown, type of exhibit. So that's really cool. Minor thing, you know, I am not, an interior designer expert or anything, but I think hip hop is nothing if not urban, right? So concrete, brick, chain link, those are all textures that, I would think would work well with this exhibit. So I know there's a lot going on in the exhibit. I noticed the acoustic tile that was wrapped around some of the columns and then some of the booths and stuff like that. But I just wanted to throw that out there as a suggestion. Just to, you know, to me, that would make it feel more authentic, you know, so less plasterboard and more brick and chain link fence.
Well, and that's not the first time we've heard that. We've started bringing in, and I don't know if I've got dozens of renders, and these aren't the ones. There is a chain link pattern on one of the walls. The other thing was interesting. I don't see them here. You know, and I had mentioned AI before, artificial intelligence. When we started this project, that didn't really exist, and now it does. And in fact, some of our illustrations, I'm not seeing them here. The design folks, yeah, they're not here. Used AI to generate some of these images. So we're using the latest technology in the exhibit, in the presentation. But that's the interesting thing about hip hop too, is that it's a super high tech kind of thing, but it's also a very street thing. So it's got these two tensions. But that's an important point.
Yeah, I think, you know, hip hop's a little bit of everything nowadays, but certainly its origins are in the urban environment.
Yeah, for sure. And our environment, you know, we want it to feel local. So a lot of the imagery that's going to eventually end up in here will be Birmingham based.
Gotcha. Now I'm excited about it because, I mean, again, it's another exhibit where a lot of our young people will be able to see themselves, and it's talking about subject matter that, you know, they're very familiar with, very proximate to, something that gets them excited, and that, you know, I know that they will be able to find a lot of interest in. I mean, I joke and say, you know, McWayne Records, but I mean, it sounds like that's exactly what's about to happen. Like a lot of people, or a lot of young people will be able to come in and, you know, be able to come up with their own lyrics and, you know, design their own shoe and all kinds of cool things. And they'll be able to, you know, pump out this content. I would be curious if there is going to be some aspect that, you know, kind of teaches the responsibility, you know, of your voice, right? Like, just being able to make sure that, you know, we're also not only engaging you in STEM, not only, you know, allowing you to be able to participate in some of these creative activities, but then also inspiring you to understand the true art and history of this art form, and the responsibility that comes along with it, because your voice is powerful. Your voice is powerful, and so I think that there's a great opportunity for young people to really make a difference, not just, you know, in this city, but even outside of here, through this exhibit that they're exposed to. So
I think part of our goal and our mission too is the programming that all of our educational programming will be based around that very thing, you know, teaching, not just being able to touch, see it, taste it, I mean, if I'm wrong, but also just, you know, teaching, giving the knowledge of, you know, how hip hop is portrayed, history, things of that nature, just giving those young folks something to walk away with, other, you know, outside of this experience, But again, like you said, taking away that knowledge, taking away something that they can learn on this, and it's a language that they speak. Yeah, it's pretty exciting. I didn't mention this, but we're gonna have a graffiti wall too. We're gonna have at the block party graffiti wall with local graffiti artists, and then we're gonna have a kiddie version too. It's gonna be chalk, and then that they can do. And I believe the design, everything is already done. It's just a matter of
We're fabricating it now.
yeah. Which my daughter's particularly interested in. She's like, I want to write on walls. So.
Awesome. Council, I know you got a chance to just walk in. I don't know if you had something that you want to ask or say.
Yeah, I remember y'all kind of presenting this building. It almost like it's been built out. I guess the vision's been built out further, so definitely would be cool. Was this, I guess, what is the intention of how long this exhibit will be in place?
It's permanent.
Okay, it will be permanent.
Yeah. So, that's part of the other expense is to make it durable enough to last 8, maybe 9, 10 years. We will update it as things change in hip hop as well. So new sounds, new imagery, hip hop's always changing. And so we'll need to change this exhibit with it. But in that period of time, we could see 2 million people, with 300,000 a year would be interacting with this exhibit on a daily basis, so it needs to be robust.
What's the total raise that you guys need to get this?
The total project is 3.2 million, and we have raised 1.2, 1.7, something like that. So the design was paid for, and then the mayor's contribution came in, and that contribution is now going towards our fabrication costs. But design is done. I've had to stop here and there a little bit as funding comes in the design process.
So you're over the 50% threshold.
Yeah, the development folks said, let's wait a little bit before, and that was something that we debated, is that we are using the logo for the block party, but we're not really ready to say what dropping science is necessarily. So, Antoine had a great idea. It's like dropping science block party, and then when we're ready to start talking about the exhibit, it'll be the dropping science
Right.
hip hop experience or interactive.
Everything
something
would
like
live under that. So that'll be sort of the umbrella. That way, it still keeps it. It doesn't give us the because we may end up changing the name. Who knows? But for right now, it allows us to stay under that umbrella of dropping science. So each event will be the something. It'll be exhibit, the block party, the cookout, the whatever. Not saying there will be a cookout, but
The curriculum, that's one of the things we're also working on is creating some curriculum for teachers to use in the classroom.
So listen, we greatly appreciate you all coming through today.
Thank you for having
sharing
us.
this information. Definitely appreciate the handouts that you gave us as well. We passed those out to all the other counselors so that they'll be able to have access to it. So yeah, thank you.
Appreciate it.
So now we have our school board president, Ms. Leonsa Williams,
Appreciate it.
who will now talk to us.
Thank you. Good morning. It's morning. No, it's afternoon. This is just really brief. I asked our communications department, thank you all for the opportunity to share, but I asked our communications department to kind of give us a very high level, 3 or 4 points that we can highlight about what's happening within BCS. And so you all may recall, I think it was almost 2 weeks ago now, the reading rally was launched from Mayor Whitson and from Dr. Sullivan, really trying to bring about a high level of community awareness on the need for our students to, particularly our 3rd graders, to be on grade level in terms of reading and math, but particularly reading because of the Literacy Act that will now look at our scholars being, and this is across the state now, being held back in 3rd grade if they are not in fact reading on grade level. And so of course there is this statewide sort of effort to ensure that every student is getting the type of supports that they need. And so this was an opportunity to draw in the community for opportunities to go into our schools and volunteer to read with students and really create a robust system where it's not just reading to and hearing students read from, but to really understand and process the phonics of reading so that they can actually process and analyze what they're reading. And so this is kind of being done in partnership with Page Pals, which is coming from the Division of Youth Services. Really excited about that. A Page Pal 2.0 is being created. So the initial Page Pal was exactly what I just described. Volunteers from within the community would go and read in schools, in businesses, in local areas, but quickly we learned that it is deeper than just reading. So this 2.0 is where these particular volunteers are going to be trained on specific phonics. And so it is a lot more thorough and a lot more intentional to support the students. And I think you all may have heard this number, but we have a little bit over 700 students that are potentially in a position to be held back. And so of course we don't want this to happen. The state has created a number of other caveats that are in place for students to also not cause them to be held back, but ultimately our students need to be reading on grade level. And so I think this is a clarion call to the community to say, this is big, this is serious, and we want our students to be prepared academically as they progress throughout their K-12 education, and not just passing them on because they're well-behaved students, but that they are truly academically ready for that. So a lot of that initiative is happening across the district. And then I'm excited about, we are in the process of our strategic planning. The very early phases, our consultants came in, and on last week we were at Huffman High School, and we wanted to hear from the community. And so on the 27th of September, we will be at Parker High School. And this is not just for that high school, for that community. It's for folks all across the city of Birmingham, whether you are a parent, a community member, a business owner, an elected official. You all know what strategic plans are, and we are building them out for the next 3 to 5 years. And so we want to hear from the community on what is it that you want to see, what type of partnerships do we need to have, where do we need to invest the millions of dollars that we spend on an annual basis for our students. And so it's greater than just where we are now, but where do we project ourselves in the next 3 to 5 years? And how does that match with the growth of the city? And also the decline of the city, decline of enrollment, decline of housing, but increasing in housing. So really creating a long-term plan where we're trying to hear from the community. So please, please, please share this and make sure that you can get folks out and that people are coming out. And then the last piece, of course, is that we just passed our 2024 budget. It is almost, what is that, 500 million, almost 500, $480 million, lots of money to be spent. I think some of the things that we can kind of highlight is that we are spending a significant amount of resources on capital projects. Our schools are in dire needs of upgrades. We've built security bubbles at all of our schools that needed them. And so essentially a security bubble was birthed out of, if you visit a school, if you're buzzed in, you had complete access to the entire school. So somebody may decide to beeline down the hallway as opposed to pivoting to the administrative office to check in to talk about the nature of their business. But there was complete access, and so we built in all of our schools security bubbles where you actually have to go through, a security and then define your reason for being in the school, whether that's to visit a teacher, the principal, to check a student out, and then you're then buzzed into the area where you have access. So wanted to make sure that was a big deal. We've also invested resources into having security officers and trying to hire additional SROs. So we've increased the pay for our SROs. I think we went up to $50 an hour now, trying to recruit police officers that are willing to actually come into our schools and work, because security is a really big concern. I'll just stop there, because I just wanted to bring some things that we could highlight to share with you all that we are working to ensure that not only do we have a safe place, that we're maximizing our district's vision, which is to, and I have to repeat this every other Tuesday, and sometimes I forget, but it is to educate our students in a safe, secure, and nurturing environment. So that's what's been happening at BCS. You good?
Cool.
Okay.
I did want to ask a question about the Page Pals version 2, in terms of just training volunteers to be better equipped to actually help students to learn. Is that something that has already started now? And if so, how can volunteers kind of get looped in so that they can get that training?
Yeah, great question. So the registration has started. The volunteer signs up has started with the Division of Youth Services and also on BCS website. So people can log on to either one of those sites and commit themselves to being a volunteer, and then someone within the Division of Youth Services is following back up to kind of guide them on what are your interests. You know, are you looking to be that more intentional support volunteer, or is it just generally going into the schools and working indirectly with a number of students? And these volunteers are, as I said, are going to be trained, and they will be working specifically with those 700, one of those 700 plus students. So, and the goal is that it's a one-on-one, so that that student is consistently seeing that same volunteer or that small number of volunteers that they get comfortable with and are able to work with directly.
And do you know how long, I guess, the training process is for those?
That's a
volunteers?
good question. I do not know how long it is. I don't imagine it's very long, and that's the thing. And I say that because the goal is to really target those educated, you know, maybe degree individuals or not, but definitely retired educators, even current educators who may have time to work with our students in addition to what they may be doing in the classrooms.
Got you.
So I can find that out though.
Because I know it's certain aspects that, you know, are being focused on in terms of being able to teach young people how to read, you know, phonemic awareness,
Yeah.
sight words, but then also focusing on fluency and
Yeah.
things of that nature. So just trying to understand, for those who are interested in volunteering, just kind of, you know, setting some expectations of some of the different things that, you know, you can kind of look forward to and
Yeah.
how much time it will take. But, you know, if y'all had any questions.
No, I did get a chance to come to the meeting last week with the consultant at headquarters, and so I'm excited to see the information they're gathering and how that fits into a plan for us. I appreciate y'all for including us in that. I definitely look forward to that. But glad to see the budget growing.
Yes, it is growing. We're gonna have to get savvy because we've had a significant amount of resources with ESSER funding. And of course, next year is the end of, 2024 is the end of the ESSER support that we've gotten from the federal government. And so now it is really trying to, again, that's why the strategic plan is important. Because with ESSER resources, we hired a significant number of employees to be reading coaches and certain things like that within the classrooms. And of course, those funding dollars are gonna go away. So we have to figure out, you know, are we gonna put those educators back to their previous positions? How do we reshape that? And all of this is gonna be based upon what the community and partners and the district says the next 3 to 5 years are, what direction are we going into? And so it really is important. I would love to have had more attendees at at Huffman. And it's not Huffman, it's just getting the information out to the community. And so we've been talking internally just about how do we help people understand that their voice is valued, and we really want them to be present, because sometimes people think that you're doing it for them and not with them. And so really trying to gauge whatever your opinions are, whether it's you know, safety, whether it's academics, whether it's curriculum. We're hearing a lot from our students around not having to pay to play in athletic activities or any other extracurricular activity. So that's going to demand that we sort of stretch what we do internally in terms of budgeting, because we don't want to exclude students from being out of the streets and in our district activities, rather than because they can't afford to participate. So really trying to look at that and have, again, the input. So be as candid as you desire, but this is what, you know, we need to know so that we can build out a great plan that we can all say when it starts to come into fruition, like, I remember raising my voice about this and it's actually happening. So
Cool. And Madam Clerk,
Yeah, so, a couple things, on, agree, the literacy issue, third grade reading is, you know, and I mean, I think this is a all hands on deck type situation, and it's, like I've been telling folks, like, this is a pay me now or pay me later situation, and I can assure you the cost in terms of the impact to all of us is gonna be a lot less if we address it now versus later. So, I know, you know, I'm signed up, everybody in my office is signed up, my wife signed up, my mother-in-law signed up, so
yeah.
we're in. The thing, I did want to ask about, background checks. I assume that all of these volunteers are gonna be screened?
Yes, that's a great question. We asked the same thing, and we were told yes. So I'm saying yes to you all, that yes, each of the volunteers are background screened before they're able to come into the schools to work with our students.
Okay. The other thing that I just wanted to mention, and I don't know if this is appropriate for that age group, but, you know, maybe it's a little older kids that need this, but it's been a while ago, I heard a statistic, about outcomes for kids that have the opportunity to engage with an adult from the community. And it was something along the lines of, if a, say, you know, 8th grader, 9th grader had the opportunity to sit down with an, you know, adult from the community who was successful, you know, however you define that.
Right.
To me, you know, successful may mean you get the house note paid every month,
Right.
put dinner on the table every night. You know, if you get that done, you're doing pretty well. But in any case, the statistic that really blew my mind was that kids that had the opportunity to engage with a successful adult, like once a year for an hour, the outcomes for those kids were significantly improved. So I'm just curious if we have something that kind of fits that bill here in Birmingham, you know, and if not, you know, how do we get that going? You know, definitely, again, the 3rd grade literacy is got to be the foundation that we're building everything else on. But, you know, further down the road, making sure that, you know, kids have access to those mentoring opportunities. And part of who I'm speaking to is the community. Because I think folks think of mentoring opportunity, you know, mentoring as, okay, I gotta be a big brother or a big sister, you know, so one weekend a month, you know, I gotta commit my weekend to a kid or something, and what I'm trying to say is the data shows something different. That if you will just say yes to an hour, one time a year, to sit down with a kid and just have a conversation with them, then you can have a profound impact on that individual's life. So,
Yeah, I think that's a great remembrance of hearing that data point. I would say that there are 43 schools in BCS. I can tell you that every last one of the schools have opportunities for, and principals and leaders are bringing people back into the building for them to have at least that one-time interaction. So to your point about speaking to the community, this would be my comment to alumni of every last one of the schools. If you went to any of BCS's schools as an elementary, middle, or high school student, you know, tap back into those leaders to find out, especially who are now, you know, like you said, successful is relative. It could be whomever. I don't even want to give examples. It could be whomever, and the schools are always desiring for folks to come in, and it doesn't have to be a forum. It could just be a classroom. It could be during cafeteria time. As you said that stat, I was thinking to myself, like, yeah, even when I was in school, we were all, probably there was some one person that came into the building that said something that we held on to, even though it may have been the exact same thing our parents were saying. It just sounded better coming from somebody else, and you kind of picked that up. So, no, that's a great point. After the event on last week at Huffman, I was in the parking lot talking to some seniors at Huffman about, you know, some of the challenges that we experience. Like, you all are not too young to be leaders. You are not too young to differentiate yourself from other folks and to decide that I don't want to do this. And in the right way, you can call out the adults to say, I expect more. So if the secretary's giving an attitude when you walk in there, I know it may feel uncomfortable. You may have to become a young adult and say, "Are you okay today?" Like, every time I come in here, I feel like you're getting smart with me. Like, in a nice way, it can be said, because sometimes people don't realize, you know, that they're carrying on in a certain kind of way. But to anyone who's an alumni, please go. We go to the alumni parties that are hosted every week for the high schools. Go back into those schools, and it is genuinely needed. It is, very much so. I think the greatest example we can be is that example, and so our students do need that.
Thank you.
Thank you for giving me a
Madam
chance to share.
President, we greatly appreciate it. If there's anything else that we can do to, you know, to serve you all, to share information, please let us know so that we can do that.
Please mention the strategic plan to, you know, to your constituents.
September 27th.
September 27th at Parker High School, and I think the time, it is at 5:30.
Okay.
5:30, it's on a Wednesday at 5:30.
All right. Well, thank you so much. Thank you. And I know we have one last presentation by Brother Maury Robinson, a gentleman that wears many hats, but today he's coming as the Director of Operations and Finance for I3 Academy, just to kind of give us some updates on some of the things that they're doing over there. So we'll give you the floor now, sir.
Thank you, Councilman Moore. As he just stated again, my name is Maury Robinson. I serve as, get the pleasure of serving as, I'm sorry.
No, no,
Come over here.
We can't hear you.
You can't hear me. All right, my mother said I talk loud, so I'll get louder. All right, is that better?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Again, my name is Maury Robinson. I serve at the pleasure of Dr. Martin Knowles and Dr. Tommy Bice. Dr. Knowles is our superintendent at Alfred Academy, and Dr. Tommy Bice, former state superintendent, is our board chairman. I serve as Director of Operations and Finance. Alfred Academy is the largest public charter school in the state of Alabama. Again, I'll say it again, the largest public charter school in the state of Alabama. We are K through 8. We started off, we're founded in 2020 as a K through 5. And we've grown from 420 students to 735 students. We're located right in the heart of Councilman Moore's district. We're right in Woodlawn. We have 2 campuses, our elementary school, located at the former Woodlawn Baptist Church. And then we lease space over at St. Barnabas for our middle school. Got some exciting news that I'm willing to share. You all are probably one of the first people to hear it, but we are starting our high school next year. We're very, very excited about that. What we're going to do is do something that has never been done before. We're going to lease space on Jefferson State Community College campus and provide dual enrollment for our students. So as an I3 Academy student, you will walk out of school with not only your high school diploma, but you'll walk out with associate's degree credits, as well as potentially certification in the various trades that Jeff State offers. So we're extremely excited about that. That formal announcement will be done in 2 weeks, actually. So we're preparing for that. I can talk all day about what we're doing. And the reason for me being here, it's not asking for money. So don't worry about it. You're not putting right on, so that's okay. We're doing all right. But there is a stigma around charter schools in the state, and specifically here in Birmingham. There's a butting of heads, and a lot of y'all in this room I know personally, and we've had these conversations. My goal today is to help alleviate or help change that perspective. We are not trying to circumvent, take over. We're not taking the best kids out of Birmingham City and trying to come and mold them. We've seen the press. We've received the backlash. That's not our goal. When you get off the exit and you got 2 gas stations, Exxon's not telling you that you can't go to Shell. They just simply give you a choice. And that's all we're trying to do, is give our students, the 99 neighborhoods that represent the city of Birmingham, we have 92 of those neighborhoods of students from our school. They go to our school. We're simply trying to provide another educational opportunity for kids that look like a lot of us in this room to receive a quality education. And that doesn't mean that Birmingham City can't offer that, and it doesn't offer that. But you and I both know there are some changes, there are some things that need to be done, there's some efficiencies. And what charter schools is doing is simply giving another option. So again, I could talk all day, but here's a video that will show, it's about 3 minutes long, and it'll give you some visuals of what we're doing.
At I3 Academy, we are driven by growth and progress. We are the largest tuition-free public charter school in the state of Alabama. In 2020, we opened our doors to 420 K-5 students. Today, we have more than 700 families living Because of the overwhelming demand for high-quality education, we set our focus on growth, opening a second middle school level campus in 2021. I3 Middle currently has grades 6 and 7, and next year, once 8th grade is added, the total enrollment for I3 will be 730 students. We have seen progress in other fun and exciting ways too. I3 Academy now has an official mascot. We are the I3 Rockets. It's the perfect representation for our institution, where we consistently aim for new heights and challenges. The payoff for that commitment to advancement can be seen in the recognition we've received. The 2021 and 2022 Alabama Charter School Teacher of the Year came from our ranks, and it doesn't stop there. In our second year of operation, I3 achieved the distinction of national accreditation and accreditation as a STEM school, the first STEM accredited charter school in the state of Alabama. At the core of the I3 model, you will find our highly qualified and carefully recruited faculty and staff, a team of instructors that have made all the difference in our students' performance. Academically, our students are advancing along a trajectory to meet our goal of most students being on or above grade level within 5 years of our opening. The current second graders, students we have had since kindergarten, are well on their way to meet and exceed that goal as we prepare all our students for college and career. At I3 Academy and I3 Middle, it is necessary that our students have additional services not always available in traditional public schools. I3 teachers and staff members embrace the whole child approach with wraparound services for every student. In many cases, they identify underlying issues such as physical health, mental health, and academic needs, which often impact student behavior and learning. The I3 schools strive to meet these needs through counselors, behavioral specialists, a social worker, along with nurses who connect with students and their families. Paraprofessionals provide additional adult contact to assist with learning in the midst of challenges. And as a way to enrich core academics, all students take classes in art, music, world language, makerspace, wellness, and gifted education. We do all of this to make sure our students are ready to learn and have what they need to succeed. Our mission is to empower our learners to become agents of change who solve the problems they see in their world. It's a mission we invite community members like you to support wholeheartedly. Partnering with us through our I3 Academy Investment Fund will make a difference in the lives of our students, their families, and the greater Birmingham community. Let's continue to grow and thrive together.
So that's the best way to show who we are, what we do. Again, the purpose of me being here today is simply just spread awareness to what's in your backyard. A lot of people don't know about what we do and who we are. So I think that's more for opportunities to come, and thank you all for the opportunities to speak with you today. So I'll open the floor for any questions, comments, critiques. Never hurt my feelings.
So, Councilman
I was just gonna say, I think you got the 3 counselors now in the I3 footprint, because JT's got the elementary school. I've got the St. Barnabas location
Right.
down with Jeff State. I think that's District 1, right? Yeah, so,
Yes, we lost it.
but what's really cool to me too is that, so I've lived adjacent to Woodlawn, for the last 20 plus years, and, have seen the movement that kind of started with Woodlawn Foundation, and was around whenever they were, put forth their mission of cradle to college,
Mhm.
pathway. And now with this Just State announcement, that seems to be coming to, coming to fruition, so that's pretty awesome to see that happening. And, the community is excited about the school and all the opportunities that you guys are providing. And, I think it says a lot too that, I3 chose to go into a neighborhood that hadn't seen investment in a long time and really sparked transformation. So that's pretty incredible just by itself.
We're very excited, and like you said, that Cradle College, not only are we, in partnership with James Russian Early Learning Center, that's right there in Woodlawn. Obviously, you have us as the elementary, middle school, and now with the high school. Like you said, we're spanning three districts. We're gonna do some really special things. So we're really excited, and everyone in this room is invited to come. I think everybody's gotten their invitations. If you haven't, please check your chief of staff and make sure they got it, because we want you there. But yeah, we're very excited. Very excited about what we're doing.
Councilwoman.
I know you all about it.
It look like my size.
I took my quarterback position when I was in high school, but that's okay.
Oh, wow.
I don't even remember.
Don't ever get hurt. Don't ever get hurt. You might have to see the field again. I know, I'm trying to go low side. But now, any questions, anybody?
Currently, how many students do you all have?
735.
735.
735. Again, we started our 8th grade, we've grown, founded in 2020 as a K-5, and we've organically grown a grade level every single year. And so, with us being at 735, once we get 4 years from now, 5 years from now, when we get to the full completion of our high school, we'll have over, I think it's 1,100 students.
Gotcha.
And that'll be our plan. We'll see if we're about growing beyond that, but right now we're just trying to just do what we can right now.
Absolutely. And so with the high school, it'll just grow each year with each grade.
Correct.
10.
Right.
So the students who are currently at the school, they will be the only ones that kind of transition into the high school, or?
So what we'll be doing, again, we're a public charter school, which means that you got to go through a lottery system. And so if you're currently, what we're gonna do, we're gonna open up additional seats, as we open up our high school, which will allow for additional students to come in. So if you're currently not a student of I3 Academy right now, and let's say you're in the 7th or 8th grade and you wanna apply for the high school, then you can, there will be seats available. Of course, our 8th grade students will obviously get top priority as they transition and maneuver, but right now we have 110 8th graders. We're gonna have 130 seats available for our 9th grade. So, all 110 students probably won't come, but whatever seats are open, then they would be up for selection from the outside public.
Gotcha. Okay. Now, I've had an opportunity to come over to I3 multiple times and see some of the great work that you all have done with those students. I think the presentation started off with Ms. Tashara King, who is extremely dynamic.
Yeah.
And so definitely applaud you all for the work that you're doing. It's exciting news.
So again, welcome everyone. Please, if you ever want to come visit us, if you ever do a tour, again, I'm not asking for money, I'm just asking for conversation, and let's talk about how we can help progress our students in Birmingham education. So I really do appreciate your time, and again, thank you, Councilman Moore, for the opportunity.
Not a problem at all. Not a problem at all. So real quick, you can hold on, just wait. Real quick, got a couple of announcements. As our board president, Board of Education president has already made mention of, Page Pals is a reading-based incentive program designed to produce more effective student readers, both inside and outside the classroom. And so we definitely want to make sure that, if there's anybody out there who wants to volunteer, who wants to be a part of that, please reach out to the Department of Youth Services. Got it right. I'm used to saying division.
That's what I
So
said.
please, yeah, it's all
Okay,
good.
Department.
The Department of Youth Services. Yeah, so we definitely want to make sure that folks, take advantage of that, and, add a helping hand because we need all hands on deck, to address this. We also have a couple of vacancies. There's a vacancy on the Jefferson County Department of Human Resources Board. So, if you are interested in applying for that position or being a part of that board, please make sure that you, reach out to us, by reaching out to Terry Chapman at terry.chapman@birminghamal.gov. The next Education Committee meeting will be held on Monday, October 16th, 2023. Items for the agenda must be submitted by Wednesday, October the 11th, 2023 by 4 p.m. to Terry Chapman. Do we have a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. We are adjourned. Thank you.